going to war against Newsmax. Congressman Jerry McNerney and Anna Eshoo have signed a letter to cable operators saying that organizations like ours provide false information ahead of the January 6th riot on Capitol Hill. In part, they say experts have noted that the right-wing media ecosystem is, quote, much more susceptible to disinformation, lies, and half-truths. 4 right-wing media outlets like Newsmax, One American News Network, OANN, and Fox News all aired misinformation about the November 2020 elections, end quote. Well, in response, we at Newsmax want to say this. The House Democrats' attack on free speech and basic First Amendment rights should send chills down the spines of all Americans. Newsmax reported fairly and accurately on allegations and claims made by both sides during the recent election contest. We did not see that same balanced coverage when CNN and MSNBC pushed for years the Russian collusion hoax, airing numerous claims and interviews with Democrat leaders that turned out to be patently false. Well, so if you were watching us and you're fair, then you would agree with us. Watch.
We certainly hope that that this does not get more violent than we have already seen it. They're not supposed to be there, and we certainly don't condone that. Hopefully, some of these folks will actually end up getting arrested, and we'll know who they are. Going through a police barricade or overrunning a police line is also something that is, certainly not to be encouraged.
This is clearly, I think, crossed the line.
This is a tragedy for America. This has to stop now. I don't get the point of anyone watching us or on social media excusing what's happened. This will go down as one of the darker days in American history. I think condemning the violence is important, solving the situation, and trying to figure out how this happened is all very important. Again, a national embarrassment, a national crisis, and that's not a partisan view or even a journalistic view. It's an American view.
We here have condemned violent protests and riots of all kinds on this network.
What really bugged me was the vandalism inside that you're seeing some of the video now, the vandalism inside the nation's capital. Completely unacceptable.
And let's be quite clear here, huh? We condemn the violence. We condemn it, all right? The people who did illegal things must be arrested.
The images that I've seen this afternoon at the Capitol, frankly, disgust me. Violence has no place in our society. Destruction of public property has no place. Disrespecting law enforcement is not acceptable. This is un-American. This is not what we do. We are better than this, and we must denounce this.
And now our panel is back to discuss this a little further. Dennis, what do you think?
You know, you all not only broadcasted and reported it accurately, but the majority of your viewers agreed also that this was the most darkest day in recent American history. What concerns me the most is that these two members that are friends of mine, because I served with them, are now trying to suppress or censor fundamental First Amendment rights of free speech that the journalism community has and the American people have been beneficiaries of for over 241 years. This is also the basis of another bad precedent, where we're trying to let government come in and censure what is going to be heard or listened to or viewed by the viewing public. I'm very concerned about this, and I think that this will not hopefully see its course through to where we have censorship now of what we're allowed to view or listen through media institutions.
Yeah, I mean, Ford, if you don't call it censorship, what else would you call it?
Well, it is absolutely censorship, and I think, Heather, in the statement you read, that's exactly right. This should send chills down the spines of people, because the Democratic majority is trying to stifle political speech and independent news judgment by bullying the cable providers into basically shutting off views that they don't agree with. I mean, this is really Marxist, fascist type of behavior, and they just want to try to piggyback off of the awful events on January 6th to do it. It is downright despicable, and another tool of the socialism they're trying to push out there, so that if you don't agree with them, you are wrong. That's a sad day, because America was built on free expression.
Yeah, Bob, it really is troubling when one party assumes to know what is right and correct and won't let the other party even out for discussion.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for, right? Is that what they're doing this time? And then in the midterms, Congress, they take it over, the Republicans take majority. 2024, a Republican takes this over, and now it's their turn to go after the networks they don't like. Kristen, this doesn't seem like a good idea.
No, it's absolutely chilling. This silencing of free speech is the greatest threat to our freedoms that we face today. It wasn't enough for the Democrats to win both chambers of Congress and the White House. They now want to control what you can say and what you think. And anybody who dares to speak out against their big government left-wing agenda will be squashed and silenced by any means possible, whether it's through big tech, corporate America, or pressure from Democrats in politics. It's absolutely frightening, and people need to wake up before it's too late, and we've let our freedom of speech go.
Yeah, I mean, and Dennis, you mentioned that you worked with and know these two individuals. What do we need to do, or what can be done to bring everyone back together and some sense to what's happening here, and bring us back to a place where we're open to listening to both sides of an argument? Simple.
Well, first of all, we have to hold President Biden accountable for what he said in his inauguration, that he is here to unify.
Yeah.
And in order to unify, we have to be able to hear the diverse thought, the difference in ideas, but we have to have the decorum to do that. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a major step. And I think if the Republicans start looking at how the American people want to see us come together and actually act on that, the Republicans will be even farther ahead than they most likely will be in the midterms in 2022. You know, the American public, they don't mind a bad, a bad series of events happening every now and then, but because they always know we can heal. We can heal through the process that our founders gave us, so long as we have the freedom of thought and expression. That's what's going to be considered here, is whether we're going to be able to continue that freedom of speech through thought and expression.
Yeah. And Heather, you and I interview a lot of people through the whole job. I mean, obviously, we tend to have folks that are the right of center, and we let them have their say. We also have people to the left of center. But what does this make you think? You've been in broadcasting a long time.
Yeah, I mean, like I just said, I hope that we can get back to a place, whether it be online, via social media, or broadcasting, where we want to hear both sides of an argument, where we trust that viewers and people are smart enough to look up the facts themselves and determine how they feel about an issue. But you can't do that if you're only being presented with one side. I trust that our viewers are smart, and I trust that they know how to look through things themselves, and we should allow them to do it.
Yeah, and just so our viewers understand what's going on, there are members of Congress trying to encourage these cable companies to stop carrying networks like ours. Okay? That's what's going on here. Is that really where you want to go?
Yeah, I don't think so. And they're supposed to meet, I think, next week about it, and we'll see what happens for sure. But we definitely appreciate all of our viewers right here on Newsmax. And I did see another article that came out that talked about the increase in viewership that we've had, also OANN. So somebody's doing something right in terms of how they're reporting things. All right. Well, panel, stick around with us, because coming up, we're going to talk a little bit more about President Biden's ongoing battle for strong.
Hi, Emma Reckenberg here. If you like this video, there's a whole lot more to see on Newsmax TV. You can watch for free right here on our YouTube live stream and be the first one here each time our experts break down real news. Just hit that subscribe button, ring the bell icon, and stay with us on America's fastest growing cable news channel, Newsmax TV.